Welcome back, guys. Yes, in my last tutorials, I kind of started working on the Pagani Zonda at one point, and then I'm not going to finish that project now. Instead, I'm gonna start a brand new project, and the reason why is because I upgraded my system to a better one, and the the software as well is now is a better one as well. I'm using 2020 instead of 2017, and it's got more options and more tools inside. The car that I'm gonna working with is going to be the C8 Corvette, and then the recorder that I'm having actually, I'm not just able to do 10 minutes now. I'm gonna be able to do like indefinitely. So I'm probably gonna do like a 1 hour tutorial on these ones, and then we go from there. Along the process, you're going to learn something, and I'm going to learn some new things as well because I'm always learning. So what I did, I just went on Google search and I just bring up one of these blueprints.com. If you sign up and you can get the full definition, high resolution images, and then you have to pay for this image for like 18 euros or something. But I don't think it's necessary because the lines are there. And what we're going to do is we're gonna use this picture, and for references, we're also going to use the real picture. So we're gonna go with that. But for blueprints and to make sure that we don't have to worry about scaling too much, we're just going to use this image here. So what I already did is I took this picture and I just used Windows snip. So just snip, Windows snip, and a new snip, and then just snipped out one of them and named it side view, and then I saved it to desktop. So that's how I got these views. So if we jump into SolidWorks now, and then we start setting up our design plane, then we can add these pictures up. Okay, so um, let's come out of this one and let's start a new part. And let's wait for it to open up. Okay, so that's good. So if you don't have these tools up, there's some tools here that you're definitely going to need, like project curve or curve through reference points. And my favorite is normal too. Whenever we press that, it just brings it into perspective. Of course, you need plane up here, and then the axis you can access. And then it's always good to add points, and it's always good to have control polygon pulled up. To pull any of these tools up, all you need to do is go to customize commands, and then you just choose here whatever toolbar you want, and then you just like for control polygon and just drag it up here. I already have it there, so I'm not going to, but that's where you can get these ones. So let's come out of this and let's set up our design plate here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna click on front and I'm gonna hold down control and select top plane and then right plane, and then once I release control on the keyboard, this window pops up, and then I can just press show, and this will show all our planes, all the planes that we need. And then here we can add our pictures, our sketch pictures that I mean our blueprint pictures. And then of course we're going to use some other pictures as well to go with that, because our blueprint pictures is not very clear. I mean, if you jump over to that one, as you can see, it's it's not that clear for us. And if you look at the real picture here, beside that one, you can see already that. So let's say this comes in here and this is black and this is gray. Obviously, on this blueprint picture, it's not showing us what this bit here actually is. So if we bring this up here and then we zoom it in, you can see it's like an upward extruded part, some sort. But of course, we're going to get some more clearer pictures later on the design, and then see where we get with it. Okay, so let's add our sketch pictures onto these planes here. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna choose top plane, and I'm gonna sketch on the top plane, and I'm gonna use sketch picture from here. And I'm just going to take my already snipped picture, which is this one, and it drops it right about here. I'm just gonna bring it somewhere in the middle on the top, and what I do, I press OK on that, and then I come up here and I select midpoint line, and I snip straight onto the midpoint, and I just bring it out to about this far for now, and then press escape on the keyboard to come out of the sketch, and then I'm going to double click on the picture, and then zoom in here and just roughly place it in the middle, something like that. Okay, now you can see more on this small bit here that, yeah. Okay, so to me that's in the middle, really in the middle. So what we need to do now is press OK on that sketch picture, and we're gonna bring this middle line in about here, and then something like that, and then we're going to pull our image right in that these 2 points, so it lines up, the two ends lines up with that one. So if you come over here again and then just place that in the middle, come over here in the front and then make sure that's in the middle, and the picture is touching the two edges, and the picture is touching the two edges, so that's fine. So if you press OK on that and exit the sketch, right, exit the sketch, and then we're just going to add our side view now. And to do that again, we're going to click front plane. Let's see if we're still recording. Yes, we are. So let's click on that, sketch on that, and let's choose our side view for this picture. Again, we are working on the Corvette C8. So let's see how we get with that one. Okay, so now that we have this picture here, we're going to exit this sketch, and we're gonna come into this front plane, exit this one, and we're gonna come into this front plane, sketch on that, and then we're going to press normal to profile, and then we have the 2 points here, and that's where the two ends are. So we're going to draw two lines, two construction lines, one from this point up to about here. Press escape on the keyboard to come out of the sketch, and then another center line or construction line, and then bring it all the way up here straight. All right, and now we can bring our sketch picture right between those two lines. So that should fit in the lines perfectly. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm gonna bring down this picture somewhere on the bottom of the edge of the car, right? And trying to place it in the middle. Okay. And then that looks good to me. Okay. So exit the sketch. And then we're gonna check that one here and bring it a little bit closer, but not too much. We're gonna leave a little bit of room for us, so we can we can we can touch those planes whenever we want. Okay, so let's check this one here. It's a bit too big, so somewhere about there. So we have those points when we need them. Okay, so another thing we can do also is to check if things are lining up, and one of the best way to do is to create a projection plane that we can project from this angle down to that angle. And to do that, we're gonna sketch on the right plane, and we're gonna make a simple center line, construction line, whatever you want to call it, and bring it out to here. Press escape, and then we're going to select exit the sketch, and then we're going to select plane, and then we're going to select a line first. Okay, that's not. So select the plane, select the line first, and then the point. Okay, and that will gives us the projection that we're looking for. So it's almost like a camera, but also we're going to sketch on it just to get some references that things are lining up. So let's click on that, sketch on that, and then normal to profile. And then we're going to draw some lines, which we will get rid of after that. We don't need it. So we're gonna check for the wing mirror, the edge of the wing mirror, and that's perfectly lines up. Okay, so exit that sketch. We don't need that there. Go back to a center line, and then we're going to check the edge of this window to that one, and that's lining up perfectly. So we're good here. Okay. So we don't need these planes anymore. So we're going to delete this plane, and then we're going to delete this line. Okay. And then we don't need these lines as well. So we're going to delete this line. So the less clutter the way I create, and I'm suggesting you could do it as well, is the less clutter or hanging lines or construction lines you have in your design, the better. I mean, that's the reason why I deleted those lines that I don't need. I mean, some people, if not, then they'll just leave those lines hanging there, and further down the design, when you almost finish the car, you have a million or maybe 2 million lines that are not even needed, and it's just hanging there, and it's just really hard on the graphic card to do further rendering or adding extra designs for it. So the less hanging lines or construction lines you have in your design, the better. And the cleaner your future tree is also is a good practice. Okay. So the next thing I want to do, well, I'm going to add front view and rear view later on, but for now we're just gonna use the side view and the top view. And the next thing I want to do, I want to come over here. I want to come over here into it's called configuration manager, and I want to add another display state. So basically on the second display state, we're not going to have any of the planes or any of the sketch picture. So whenever we create our curve or surface or anything, the only thing we're going to see in that display state is that line or is that surface. So we're gonna come down here and we're going to do a right click, and then we're going to add display state. Okay. So now we have our second display state. So if we double click on second display state, you see everything is there. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here in the future tree and then open up sketch. And then we're going to come over here and hide. And then going to open up the second one, and then we're going to right click, and then we're going to press hide. Okay. So we can hide. You can also click on the plane and say hide, and then hide, and then hide. So you see there's nothing here on this display state. So if you go back to our configurations, and then we click on our first display state number 1, everything comes back. But on the second one, there's nothing there. So that's what we want. Okay, so let's start by creating possibly our first curve, right? So some people usually starts with the bonnet of the car. We can do that. We're probably gonna do that. Some people starts with the windshield. That's a good practice as well. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with the bonnet, and then before I do that, let's click on here and press normal, and have a look at how things go, how things line up. And then we're gonna bring up our real picture here, and then let's rotate it a bit. And if you can see, it's pretty close to the one that is there. Yeah. All right. So what I'm thinking of doing is first thinking of doing this section here, this small part that is done here, and then this section here, and of course is going to come in this way, and then this one comes in, and it will create that vampiric look, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, let's start by creating this inner section first, and then we come out to the outer section. Okay, so that's our inner section here. It comes in like that, to this part here, and then like that. Let's just have a look again. Our image here. Right, so it's kind of straight, but it has a little bit of curve, and then it will obviously it will blend in with this part here. We will try to blend that in. Okay. All right. So so let's create our first surface, and then we're going to do this surface here, and then let's sketch on the front plane, normal to profile, and then let's have a look at some pictures that we have. Let's look at this front view here. It's hard to tell if it's actually a lower or higher, but it's definitely lower than at this section here. Oh yes, as you can see, it's lower than this section, and it kind of comes up in that way. It comes up in like a triangle fashion. So the middle section is going to be higher than the lower section, and of course it comes down like that. Okay, so yeah, so it's going to be lower. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by creating a spline, and then we're just going to create that spline from here to here. Exit that sketch, and we're going to click on it, and we're going to pull up these controls to find what we are looking for. So that comes down to here, and as we said, it is lower. It is lower than the edge of the car, but then it's higher than the. It's a bit higher because it comes down in a triangle fashion, and of course it blends in. It blends in at the top, and then it's lower at the bottom. So let's put that about here, somewhere here, and then we get onto this point, and then maybe pull it down a little bit, something like that. And then obviously let's bring this line a little bit lower, somewhere here, and maybe we bring this down a little bit, something like that. And let's have a look at again our picture here. Yeah, that looks kind of what we're looking for. And so we're gonna leave that line somewhere there, and then we're gonna exit this sketch, and then we can always adjust our curvature if it's not what we're looking for. So, and then we're going to we're going to sketch on the top plane, and then normal to profile, and that line is just going to be a straight spline, and then we're gonna make that spline from here to here with that sketch, and then now we exit this sketch, and now we're going to do a projection curve. So press projection curve, and then we're going to do sketch on sketch. So we're going to select this sketch and this sketch and press OK, and that created our first spline. So if we jump over to our display state, you can see we have our first spline here, and we can always manipulate this spline. So let's jump back in here. So now that we have our middle section, obviously we're going to need the this edge here, and then we're going to need this spline, create this spline, and this one is higher, so this one has to be lower a little bit, right? So let's sketch on that plane, and then normal to profile, something like that. And when we're going to select our spline, and we're going to select the spline from out here, I always kind of make it select it a bit farther, or make it bigger than the actual, not point to point, because then I can always trim the way I want. Yeah, you will see when I get to that one. Press escape, and then we're going to just adjust that into that section here, and then we're going to add a little bit of curvature to that. something like that. Bring this point somewhere here, and then we have our curve on that. Okay, so we're going to exit this sketch, and then now the most important sketch is the front plane here, and as we said, is going to be lower than this one, because this one is going to be giving us the top bit, so it's going to be lower. Then it's going to create our that triangle shape that we're looking for. So let's sketch on the front plane. I already selected. Okay, let's select sketch on that, and then press normal to profile, and then again, instead we can create another sketch, or we can create an offset from the curvature that we already have to a lower point, which is probably going to be the best practice here. So we're going to offset, and we're going to offset this one here, and then we're going to reverse that offset, and then we're going to set maybe 1 or try 3, and maybe 4. Let's see how 4 doing. Yeah, I think 4 is a lot better, so let's press OK on that. So now we have that. So now we have our 2 curvature again. So we're going to exit the sketch, and then what we're going to do is we're going to click on projection curve, and then we're going to sketch on sketch, and that's created our second spline there, and then we're gonna press OK on that. So if we jump over to our second display state, now we have our 2 spline, and that will create what we're looking for. Yeah, so now that we have these 2 curve, we can add our 3D curves. So we're gonna go into sketch, and then we're going to select 3D sketch, and before that we're going to select some curves, and then we're going to add one of our curves from this point to this point. As you can see, I'm not adding the points to the edge, because I will pull it and it will stop right at the edge, and that's exactly what we want. And then we're going to select another one, and from this point to this point, and I'm gonna pull that all the way to the end. And on this section, I'm just yeah, I'm gonna pull it all the way to the end as well, because we will trim it away. It won't cause any trouble for us. So press OK on that. And then the next thing we're gonna jump over to surfaces, and then we're going to select bonder surface, and then we're going to select this surface, this spline, and this spline. And for direction 2s, we're going to select that one, and then this one, and then press OK. Select continuous group of entities. Okay, so select this one, press OK, and then select this one, press OK, and then now we can check that one, and that created our first surface. However, our surface is very flat at this point. We didn't add any curvature to the part itself, but we don't want to, because we can do that once we have the whole hood. We can the whole bonnet. We can come back and manipulate these curvatures, these 3D sketches that we have here, to the rest. So if we jump back into our first display state here, and then what we're going to do here is just click on the top plane, press normal to profile, and then what we're going to do is we're going to add a an appearance to that surface, and it's going to be glass. And let's glass and blue glass, so we can. That's good. To face. So that's fine. So now we can see through it, and we know what we are cutting away and how we're cutting things away. So the way to cut things away, the way we're going to do it, we're going to go to select top plane, sketch, and we're going to select the spline. And then what we're going to do is just we're gonna come here into this corner, to this corner, and then we're going to select that and just pull that down until we have that line, and that's roughly good for us. Okay, so press OK on that, and then we're gonna come back into surfaces and trim surface, and then we're going to select keep selection. So we're going to keep this one and then press OK. So now we have that one there. Okay. We can also hide this spline now. We don't need it. And then the next snip we're gonna do is we're gonna snip from here to all the way there. So we're just gonna come into a sketch on this face again and select the straight sketch, and then we're going to just select from here to all the way down there, and then press escape, and we jump over to surfaces and trim surface, and we're gonna keep this one, and then press OK on that. So that looks good. So if you go over to our second display state, we have our first surface, and it will create, once we can hide this spline, and we can hide this spline. Okay, and we can just, let's just mirror this over to the other side and see if we have that triangular shape that we were looking for. To do that, we're going to come over to futures. Let's see if it's still recording. We are, and in the future tree, we're going to select mirror. And then from the drop down menu, not from the future tree, but from the drop down menu from this side, we're going to select the front plane. That drops us right in the middle. And that's going to be our mirror face plane. And then it's important that we choose bodies to mirror, not faces, but bodies, because it is a body. So let's select this body here, and nothing's overlapping, and we do have our triangular shape that we were looking for, and that's exactly what we were looking for here. Okay, so let's jump over to our normal display state here, and we're going to take off this appearance just so we can see better. Remove appearance, and then if you just click on that, press normal to profile, as you can see, we have our first surface, and then after this it comes out to here and up here. Okay, so that's we're gonna leave this tutorial, this section part 1 at this point, and in the next tutorial we're going to continue with the bonnet and the rest of the parts on this side. And of course I will leave, don't forget to save your design. So I will leave this. I will leave if you don't want to get it from Google, or if you can't find it on Google, I will leave in the description the blueprint, so you can download it for yourself to use it. Okay, so see you in the next tutorial. Bye.